Hi everyone, today's May 11th. We are now 5 weeks in on this journey, and again, another great week. This week has been really just, transformative for me. It's really been eye-opening. I'll kind of just jump right in, I guess. This week I started to reintroduce foods. I did my first reintroduction because I'm about 3 weeks now fully on AIP, but I'm a bit more. But fully AIP, I'm 3 weeks in. So I did my first reintroduction, which was black pepper. And I think I'm sensitive to it. I noticed after I ate it, my face got red, my skin, I started heating up, my body started getting warmer. And then I also put my cold shower theory to test, and I really think it's a great test. I really think it works. After I got out of the shower so I ate it Friday night and then Saturday for lunch. I put pretty much just pepper on my meat that I cooked, and then also I had a salad, so I just put it on both. And so I took a cold shower on Saturday. I got out of the shower and very red, just super splotchy. Shoulders, chest, face was way red, just very splotchy again. And I took another one on Sunday, and same thing. It wasn't as bad on Saturday. So yesterday, Sunday, I did not eat any black pepper, and I'm not going to eat it I'm not going to eat it for a while until I reintroduce another food. But I'll go back to being strictly AIP for at least 4 more days before I try another reintroduction. The next one will probably be snow peas or green beans. And the reintroduction, at first it was kind of overwhelming, just the thoughts that were going in my head, more the not knowing. First, when I started, the not knowing whether I am sensitive to it or not was definitely a big one. And it's how sensitive am I to it was another. I wasn't really sure, I'm red. It's not that red, but it's definitely red. And then it's all right, how bad is that? But I think after I took the cold shower and I really saw how red I got, I really believe that really shows that it does cause inflammation. So I'm gonna sit out on black pepper for now. And it was really eye-opening, that whole experience, because I believe I said in one of the earlier weeks, I don't think I'm allergic to black pepper. And it's just now that I look back on it, how would I even know that I'm allergic or sensitive to it or not? It's something that I used to always do in my life, where it's you think you know something, but you have zero idea, but you pretend you know it. I do this in all other aspects of my life. But the great thing about this experience was just the entire journey in general, but this specific experience is that it humbles me. I don't need to be bigger than black pepper. I'm not stronger. It's the same thing with sleep. You hear people that say, "Oh, I don't need 8 hours of sleep. I feel good on 5." It's you're not bigger than sleeping. It's this experience brings me back down to level. I don't need to be better than black pepper. It's so irrelevant. If I'm sensitive to it, then I'm sensitive to it. It's not something that I need to fight, something I need to be distraught about. It's not that big of a deal. I haven't had issues cooking without it for these 3 weeks. Every single meal I've cooked so far has been very delicious, I think, and it hasn't been an issue. So it's not something I need to get upset about. It's more that experience was very eye-opening to the rest of my life. I don't need to think I know stuff when I really have zero idea. I'm not trying to prove myself to anyone. And I think it's just an immature habit that I used to have, where I would do stuff like that. But part of this journey that's what I'm saying. This is just the first thing that was eye-opening this week. I mean, I guess you could say it's the last thing, because this was towards the end of the week. But this experience was very eye-opening, and it was very humbling. I don't need to pretend that I don't know stuff or pretend that I'm better and stronger than certain things. There's no point in doing that. So early in the week, on Wednesday or so, I really just took a deep look into myself. I really just looked at all the stuff that I used to do, look at how I want my future to be, and certain things like that. And one thing that actually really helped was I really read just everything that my pattern says, like on the pattern app. It's like a horoscope app. So I read everything that it says. And again, this takes it back to the black pepper scenario. Like, people shut down the horoscope and it's like, you don't know. Like, people know nothing. And they just want to shut it down because it's kind of like the easy thing to do, I guess. But this experience just makes my mind, like, makes me open to all new ideas. Like, I don't need to shut something down before I even give it a full shot. So it's definitely going to change me as a person. And it's going to change me only for the better, which I'm so happy for. So I really just read everything that it said on the pattern, specifically on the section that says your pattern. And it all couldn't be more true with everything that it said. And it was definitely it was overwhelming at first because it was very, very accurate with so many things. But it was good to read about it and really think about these certain things. So the first one that stuck out to me that I kept on saying was how I've always let the opinions of others and even part of my family, I never really thought, like, what do I want to do without having the opinions of others and my decision be affected by other people. And I'll go into details specifically for me. Like, I really got a business major because my dad worked in finance. Like, it was kind of just something I just followed because that's something that I thought would be the right decision. But I didn't really think, like, what do I really want to do with my life? I definitely didn't do that back then. But because of me reading this and just really looking into myself, I really started to think more, what do I want to do with my life, and what do I really want? And it was definitely very eye-opening, and it makes me focus on what I actually want to do in my life and work towards that life. I remember when I was younger, I really wanted to be a teacher when I was a kid. But I remember when I got slightly older, I just shut down that idea because teachers make no money. But it's like, money isn't happiness. Like, I don't know why I even shut that down. But maybe in some way doing these videos will be like a teacher in some aspect. So we'll see on that. But that's just one example of me. And there were just many other things where I just decided to do things because either that's what some people said to do, that's kind of what society says you should do, and I didn't really ever think about what should I do without any other people affecting my decision. So from this, I really just looked deep inside myself and starting to figure this all out. I have a very good idea of what I want to do for the next 5 years. Like, I have a 5-year plan now. And from that, I started to change. I started this before I started reading my horoscope. I started to change this in my weekly habit with my meditation. So I used to do mainly guided meditations, and I still do the guided meditations, but I also decided to start meditating on just one specific thing. So for the 5-year goal example, I just decided to meditate, and the only thing I was thinking of, the only thought that I had in my mind were stuff related to my 5-year goal. So I was just focusing on what I want my life to be in 5 years, what kind of life I envision for myself, and now I have a good idea of what kind of life I want to live. And it was definitely overwhelming to think about all these things, but I couldn't be happier that I did this because now I have my path, and I know what my path is. And I know for this path, I'm not going to let any other decision change my course on it. Like, I know this is what I guess I'm meant to do, and this is what I want to do. And I'm not going to let opinions of others or society change it just because of certain things. Like, I know this is what I'm going to do, and I know I'm not going to change from that. One other thing with the horoscope was how I view my relationships, especially romantic relationships. I kind of just shunned these altogether. I kind of just would either just not get into anything serious, shut it down before it would become serious, or just shut it down before it even gets to even a point to get close to that. And there were many reasons why I would do this internally, but it's not helpful. Like, that's not what I really want. Like, I do want to have a family. And I feel like society, like, I would think like, oh, I'm not going to get married. I want to get married by not until I'm 35. And it's like, that's so just dumb. Like, why do I have that? I didn't actually want that. That was kind of just what society and opinions of others, that was kind of like what everyone else was thinking. And it's just so not what I want to do. Like, I do want to have a family. I do want to have kids. And like, this is what I want to do. And I don't need to validate myself from the opinions of others or from society. Like, I don't need to wait till I'm 35 or wait till I have a successful job or wait until I start making money. Like, no, I can just open myself up to the possibility of a serious relationship and see what happens. Kind of just let the journey take its course. I don't need to shut stuff down before they even happen because of these random reasons that make no sense. So the horoscope really helped me with looking into myself with this. It really helped with just formulating who I want to be. So I know people shut horoscopes down all the time, but maybe allow yourself to open up a little more. Again, this went back to the black pepper stuff. It's funny how small of a thing black pepper is can have such a major impact on my life. And I'm grateful that I did. I'm grateful for all this stuff. I kind of look at every single experience, good or bad, as just an experience. It's good to have them. If I feel anger and just like negative qualities, like, it's not a bad thing to feel these things. It's good to feel negative stuff. Like, it's not always great to feel as happy as you can be. Now on this journey, I have felt happy almost all the time towards the end of it, but to have the good, there has to be some bad. And it's funny that I said that because let's change up to the other thing that happened this week. I started reading about transcendentalism. That's a long word. And I started reading some of Emerson, and then I just started reading Walden, but I'm a few pages in. But reading Emerson, especially his self-reliance essay, was very something that I felt connected to it. I don't know if it was because it's time, I just feel just not useless, but I feel like I'm living a life that I don't actually really want. I realize that I don't really want to be in New York much longer. Like, I do love New York, but it's not something that I want to be long term. Maybe I've been here because of the opinion of others, and like, I think that's what I should be doing. But I know now that after thinking about it, especially all week, even longer, this isn't something that I want to do long term. So I'm going to be working every day to get towards where I want to be. So that was another eye-opening experience. I think this week was very eye-opening, and it was very helpful to put my life in perspective and put my life, and especially my future, of what I want to do. So it was definitely a very emotional week, you could say, in that sense. I really looked into many emotions I've had, many emotions I suppress, and I kind of just took a dive deep into my soul, you could say. I feel like this journey has made me become spiritual, more and more spiritual. I started reading the Transcendentalism. I started reading some Buddhist stuff. I'll start reading more, but it's more just allowing myself to open to all these ideas. In the past, I used to shut everything down, but that's not who I am now. And it's very interesting that because doing these habits, I started to be like this. And I'm sure there's some connection between allowing all the good stuff and allowing all the positives in your life and just feeling good and happy. I'm sure there's some connection between that and spirituality. I'm sure there's some connection between the two. So this week took a different course than the previous weeks. There was a lot of changes, a lot of self-reflection, and it was good to have. I know who I am now. I've always known who I was, but I know who I want to be. I know who I am. I know what I'm happy for. I know what's important to me. And I know that. It's not other people know that. Only I know what's happy for me and all that stuff. Like, I know what I want. It was very liberating to just focus on yourself. And I suggest, my advice to you would be to do something similar. Either honestly, I would say read the horoscope. That one was the one that was the most opening to me. I would say, I think once I started reading it, that's when I started to think about all the other things. So I would suggest reading the pattern, your pattern specifically. They show you like all the different like instincts, fears, and anxieties, like relationship stuff. So that's what worked for me. But if you don't want to read that stuff, just really take a deep look into yourself. You can meditate just specifically on yourself. Just think on like stuff, meditate specifically on your life. And it can be eye-opening for you. I think I'll end it after that. This week's video was definitely more emotional than any of the videos, and I hope I open myself up a bit more and you can kind of understand stuff that I used to go through and now my positive outlook on life and how focused I am on my future and what I want to do.